Hi, Fargo. This is Tony Gehrig, Fargo City Commissioner. This is your recap for the May 22nd, 2017 Fargo City Commission meeting. There's quite a bit of agenda items that I want to talk about today, so I'll get right to it. You can see that my son is here behind me. Daycare is over, and we got him for the summer, so he's going to be helping me out today. He's in the back there watching Captain America, so don't mind the boy behind the screen there. The first item I want to talk about is the sewer agreement with West Fargo. It was approved 4-1. John Strand voted against it. This agreement will bring up to $3 to $4 million to the city of Fargo through resources that we already have. I've spoken about this at length in other videos. Just to recap quickly, it's a fantastic deal for both West Fargo and Fargo. West Fargo currently uses lagoons. Their city is outgrowing those lagoons. They will cost up to $20 million to expand and fix and get into EPA compliance. But instead, the cheapest option for them was to partner with Fargo. We're regionalizing our asset, and we're using what we already have here in Fargo to bring dollars to the city and also help out our neighbors with their sewer issues. So great deal all around, 4-1 vote. It's going now back to West Fargo to approve the final agreement, and I expect it to be a 5-0 vote, hopefully. But at a minimum, I'm sure it'll pass, and this is a great deal for both Fargo and West Fargo. This one's a quick one. Taxi service in the city of Fargo. We have to approve a license for taxi services to go to work. I think this is an outdated system and doesn't need to happen anymore. Government does not need to say to someone that they can use their private vehicle to pick up a private individual and take them to wherever they want to go. Uber, Lyft, these things already happen. They don't require licenses from the city of Fargo to do that. In fact, the city of Fargo, against what I was saying, tried to block Uber from coming to Fargo. And I think we can all see the benefit of Uber and Lyft in our community currently. I use Uber all the time. I just used it yesterday to go to the airport or go home from the airport. So I think it's a fantastic service. We do not need licenses anymore for this, and I'm going to try to get rid of that system. The NDSU Foundation, the big open area up by NDSU where there once was 23 or so houses, has been demolished. And it was voted on 5-0 to go ahead and approve them to build an apartment complex up by NDSU. This is a private development. This is not NDSU proper doing this. It's a foundation, a private organization doing this. It's about property rights, folks. If you own the property, you should be able to build on that property. It's going to benefit, as a side note, it's going to benefit that community. There's going to be, instead of having a bunch of dilapidated homes there's going to be a $25 to $30 million complex. So that means more affordable housing by NDSU. That means more tax revenue for the residents of Fargo. This is a win-win in my opinion, and it never should have had a revote, but that's what happened. It did pass 5-0, and I'm happy that's what happened. The State Water Commission, you've heard me talk about this before. We, as a city and a diversion authority, approve certain spending for the diversion and for inner-city flood protection. Some of that spending we all agree on, some of it we don't all agree on. In particular, the Oxbow buyouts, the Oxbow clubhouse, and other things that go on in Oxbow. Many of us disagree with how that's all been handled as a city, but the State Water Commission vote is simply this. We spent the money as a diversion authority, as a city of Fargo, and we are asking the state to reimburse 50% of what we spent. This vote was a 3-2 vote to get that reimbursement. This is not the way to protest the Oxbow situation. If we were to vote 3-2 against this reimbursement, all that would happen is the projects in Oxbow will continue to go on, and we just wouldn't get 50% of our money back. This is a dangerous game that we're playing. If one vote gets changed, we lose tens of thousands up to millions and millions of dollars. So I think that we all need to recage and go back to what this all means. And if we want to protest, we can do so as a diversion authority. I'm on the finance committee with Tony Grimberg. Dave Pepcorn and the mayor are on the diversion authority itself, and John Strand is on the land management committee. We can all vote no against these things in those committees, but if it passes and the money gets spent, we have to get reimbursed. Otherwise, we're all holding the bag here in Fargo. The City Hall update. City Hall is over budget. Not surprised here. We were told this was going to be a $22 million building, which is what we voted on. What they didn't tell us was that Centennial Hall wasn't part of that. That's a $600,000 demolish right there. The FF&E, which is furnishings, fixtures, and equipment, wasn't part of that. That's $1.7 million. So this is going to be a $30 million building, and I'm not happy about that. We voted as a city against the prior $30 million building. So We had the update given to us, and it was just a receive and file. Who do we got back there?
Me.
Tony Grimberg?
No, man.
Oh, John, how's it going?
Good.
Just doing the video. You want to be part of it?
No.
The FF&E for the City Hall was also discussed, and right now it's a $1.7 million budget. Bruce Grubb, our city administrator, asked that it be bumped up to $1.9 to $2 million, and it ended up being taken back off the table, and we are simply going to put out bids to see what that price will be. I'm hoping it'll be at 1.7 or less, and then we can move forward from there. The police department, the remodel of the BSE building, we were told that was going to be a $560 million fit up for that building. It ends up they came back and said it'll be more like $1 million. Obviously, I wasn't happy about that. You know, we all going in thought we believed our staff and the estimates to say about $500,000, a little bit over $500,000. When it comes back and it's double, that's not a small amount of money. And quite frankly, folks, dollars come from somewhere. We don't just have money stacked up in the corners here at City Hall. That means that something else doesn't get funded, or that we have to find it somewhere, just like you do at your home. So I voted against it. It was a 4-1 vote. While I support the police department, I want them to have a nice building and be able to grow. You can't just add $500,000 and expect that money just to be there. It's not just there, folks. And that means higher taxes. That means we have to finagle the budget. And again, this is not just some easy fix that just happens. We don't have money stacked up in the corners. So all for the police department, but not all for doubling the budget. TIF policy, it was introduced to us about how we're going to move forward with the TIF policy, and I was happy with it. I was happy with the way it turned out. I was happy with the process. It's going to be very public. There's going to be ample opportunity for folks, if they're interested, to go to the committee meetings. There's going to be 3 or 4 committees that look at this multiple times. So please, by all means, if you're interested in the TIF policy, which is another incentive policy, much like the pilots and the Renaissance Zone, then please go to those meetings and have your voice heard. I, of course, will go there and ask for these things to be limited. But if no one else shows up, then we really all can't complain, can we? The final thing was XL on 7th Street in North Fargo, kind of by the Sun Mart on 7th and University going south. They want to move an overhead line. Now, it's been the policy of Fargo to stop putting overhead lines in and start burying them in the ground. So 4 of the commissioners voted against letting them move this line. I voted for it because it would increase the efficiency of their system, and it would increase the reliability. And we're not adding new lines to the skyline. We're simply moving one from one spot 100 yards to the west. So there is a lot of passionate opinion surrounding the lines, especially in North Fargo, where you see a lot of them. In South Fargo, you don't, obviously. So just notice when you drive to South Fargo that you don't see those power lines overhead. You do see those power lines overhead in North Fargo. So it's a 4-1 vote, and that will not be approved. That was your recap for the May 22nd Fargo City Commission meeting. If you have any questions, please email or call me. Thank you.